a little bit. No, it's not going to work. let's move the light then. Oh, Gina, no, it looked all right a minute ago. Okay, it's just there's a bit of a mark on the desk there. What I'm going to do is just a quick zip around the secondary planets, because it's something that I've come across. I'm not saying I've invented it or discovered it, but it's information that's actually not quite out there very much. So I thought I'd put a little series together to help people find out what the secondary planet is and where they've come from and where they're going to in tarot. And because I'm Sagittarius, I'm going to start with Magician. This is my card. I'm going to start with my card. There you go, because I know most about it. But I'll be going through all of them. So this little series is going to be about the Magicians, which is the secondary card that Mercury brings when Mercury is your secondary planet. So obviously your sign's major planet. Now, a la peanut butter sandwiches, I am not. I bought this because I was being gang stalked. I've never used it for magic. It's a prop for me, and I am very careful with it. And I wouldn't ever point it sort of directly at the screen like that. But because I was accused of being some sort of downstairs worshipper, I thought, do you know what? If these people are going to follow me around the shops and follow me down the street, if they get too much or too close, I'll just pull it out and I'll whip it at them and I'll go at them. And I tell you what, if anyone's being gang stalked, get yourself one of these, because it's the best defense you can get. And just come up with something like I'll tell you what, the gang stalking stops. So it's actually protection. Obviously be careful, because words are weapons. But I found that the gang stalking stopped. I know how to do magic because I made sure that I do, but I don't do it. I tap into natural energies, and I find the magic in nature. What I wanted to show you is, to me, that's magic. Labradorite. How that, could you imagine being the first person who discovered that, who polished that stone up and went, oh my God, it's the Northern Lights in a rock? Hmm? Can you imagine? You must have thought, what on earth is that? And it has its own word called labradorescence. It's like iridescence for iridium. Labradorescence. Beautiful, isn't it? Anywho, so I am just learning more about my cards, my astrology, and where I fit in. I'm not claiming to be, let's say, up there with the amazing Mumford. And I'm not saying magicians are any better than high priestesses or sun cards or tower cards, which are the other secondary things. So if anybody thinks that I'm bigging myself up to be sort of pizzazz, kind of some mega magician, no, I'm not. It's not my intention. And oh, hi Daniel, how you doing? It's just me being a hyper Sag, enjoying my path. And so I have an Aquarius North node, which means I have a Leo South node, and I've got my ego very much in check, because it's what I've moved away from to be more altruistic. So what I'm doing is, by the essence of that, I'm putting the selfishness, I'm not accusing Leo as being selfish, but I'm putting that pride aside and I'm moving around to sharing it with other people, the very fact that I'm doing this. Okay, so everybody can have access to this information. It's not about me. I wish I could have found this by clicking at something. Oh yeah, that makes sense, because we are much more than our sun signs. Okay, so for Sagittarians, we are much more than Temperance. It's lovely to be Temperance, but we're much more than that. So what we're going to focus on here is the Ace of Wands. Now, the Ace of Wands, yeah, look at that. You know, it's the fastest moving energy in tarot. So fast that there aren't any humans on it. Perfect flying conditions. But with that blessing comes an awful lot of responsibilities and quite a few, you know, caveats. If you see people's eyes glaze over, move on, you know, because you've obviously been a bit too much. I know I can be too much. I have to rein myself in on an hourly basis. So, yeah, wonderful, beautiful energy, But be careful, because people want to tap into that. Yeah, just be careful about people energy harvesting. That's one thing you've got to be wary of. You know. So, well, thank you very much. I can't really see that at the moment because of that, but thank you very much. So, if you're born with that, so that is November the 23rd to, I've got it here. I can't remember all this. That is November the 23rd to, where is it? November. I'm going to do a much more in-depth one. I just want to do a little skim thing of everything. That's November the 23rd to the 2nd of December. So if your birthday falls in that, you are the 8 of Wands. Jupiter is the main planet, but because Mercury is your second planet, you get the Magician. That's your secret superpower, the Magician. Okay. Now I'm just going to introduce here that I use the Aleister Crowley, and if you look at Anthony Teff birthday tarot correspondences, he has a fantastic website, and whereas I'm just going to move this all apart now. Temperance starts here, or Sagittarius starts here, and so you've got the Ten of Wands in there with Temperance, so that covers all three. But your Court card starts the week before, or it starts the decan before. It's off by one. Okay, so what you've got there is the King of Wands starts in Scorpio. So the Seven of, oh, I got the wrong card. Excuse me. I thought he looked a bit happy. Where are we? Scramble through the cards here. Should I scrap this and start again? No, because mistakes are funny. Leave it alone. Where are we? There you go. Seven of Cups. The cloudy decision. So, so let's just focus on Scorpio for the moment. Okay. You've got a big. This is all about change and rebirth. Yeah. So let's look at what changes between the Seven of Cups and the Eight of Wands. Well, somebody's stuck. Well, let's just do this bit first and get it out of the way. You know it's going to be energy is at your disposal. Yeah, that lovely King of Wands. Now, what's going on here is he's got all these options, but it's like a little bit cloudy. So it's a card representing a slight delay or confusion. And then you go straight into that. No clouds, no confusion, no nothing. The fastest energy. So a slightly stuck energy, which has its own benefits. I'll come on to that another time. But this is, if you look at the top of here, where the sky is clear, the Eight of Wands is up here, not down here. And that would represent water having to be down here, and fire can go, if you look at elemental stuff like that. But this is what's in between these two cards is this transformation. So you're going from water to fire, and stuck to the slightly stuck card to the fastest energy in the whole tarot. And that's the change, that's the transformation that you go through. Okay. So, I mean, I've got to talk about, I'll talk about myself because I can give that thing. I'm born around about here. I'm about half a degree into Sagittarius. So I'm very much on that cusp. So I have to deal with both of those. So anybody born sort of further down here, what you're going to be dealing with is, so obviously we're talking about this card, anybody born here is going to be looking at a cusp, a much less harrowing cusp. If you see, this is called the cusp of revolution, or transformation revolution. Anybody born here, it's still one's energy, so it's still the same element, so it's a little bit easier to grab hold of. And this obviously is about dedication, loyalty, commitment. Very noble notions indeed. So that would be the mini cusp that you're on. So jumping, or traversing an element is the real cusp thing there, and that's what Scorpio turning into Sagittarius. So you've got Sagittarius balancing that change, almost like pouring fire and water together there. So when you get sun and water, what do? You get a rainbow. Yeah? That's why Sagittarians get a rainbow too. So we've had the King of, I'm just going to put the King of Wands there just for tidiness sake. So looking at the Seven of Cups, oh, you can't. Looking at the Seven of Cups here, what does third decan Scorpio have as its hidden superpower? Well, its secondary planet is the moon, which brings the High Priestess in. So again, so you're dealing with High Priestess and the Death card coming into the Magician and Temperance, or the card for, I've got that wrong as well. I've messed up here. I know what I'm doing now. Where's she gone? I should probably scratch this and do it again, but I can't. I'm too tired. If you are later on in first decan Sagittarius, then you've got a mini cusp between the Magician and the High Priestess. Now that's got to be very powerful. So if people think that I'm bigging myself up saying I'm a big master magician, no, I'm not. I just know where I land in between the Empress and the Magician. But anybody born here, let's say on the 2nd of December, on the 2nd of December, 3rd of December, here, I mean, wow, what powerful people are they, 2nd, 3rd of December? Oh gosh. No, I'm not. I don't care if it's a bit crap. Oh no, why has that moved? So anybody born here, because your secondary planet is the moon. Anybody born 2nd, 3rd of December is hugely spiritual. I mean, it stands to reason. But I've had a bit of criticism saying that I'm showing off because I'm a magician. No, I'm not. I'm just excited to find out what I am. And it makes sense to me, and I'm just a bit infectious with my enthusiasm. So don't misunderstand me. I'm not apologising for anything, because if you misunderstand my enthusiasm, then that's your mistake. As I say, anybody born 2nd December, 3rd of December is here. Anybody born 22nd of November, 23rd November is on here. As the tightest cusp. Okay. I hope that helps. I'm going to do a few more of these. I'm going to do the Magicians tonight. Then I'll do the other ones. I don't know. See how far I go. I've been exhausted, so I've had a bit of a day. I'll see how far I get anyway. But I think it's quite empowering to know where your birthday sits in the order, because if you were looking at, let's say, the suit of wands, you might think, oh, the card down for me is the 7 of wands. Well, you're not, because that's the 3rd decan Leo, and that's in the summer. This is, you got to skip an element here. So I hope this is informative. I'm going to pop another one out in a minute. I'll just make myself a nice cup of tea. But I just want to get this information out and in sort of capsule form. Then when I've got time, I'll be doing a more in-depth thing about what these cards actually mean and how you can look into them and investigate the properties of each of these cards. Obviously, in the meantime, before I get around to it, maybe you could do it yourself if you want to know. So what's going on there? You were born on the 28th of November. Well, if you figure that this card here is the 23rd of November to the 2nd of December, you're probably in here somewhere. So you're beginning in that sort of like wind up to come into here. So you might you might want to explore this side, the 8 and the 9 of Wands. You're definitely the King of Wands. You're definitely Temperance. So this is nice to have that example. The 28th of November. This doesn't apply to you. That doesn't apply to you. That doesn't apply to you. Lucky you. Is what I'm saying. So you're more sort of here, coming this way. So you're definitely a magician, but heading towards High Priestess, 8 and 9. But you know, obviously, the cleanest part of that is that. So actually, you're much more within the centre of the 8 of Wands. So, I mean, you're very powerful, at getting things done. You know, getting things done. The fastest moving thing. So you're sitting very nicely, very comfortably in this sort of full speed ahead kind of thing. Obviously, with Temperance and the King of Wands. I hope that makes sense. So how do I know you're a magician? Because the planet which is linked with Sagittarius or Temperance is Jupiter. That's our major planet. But I'll just show you what you have here. This is a list of your secondary planets. So the 8 of Wands has Mercury. The 9 of Wands has the Moon. And the 10 of Wands has Saturn. Yeah, Saturn. So that's the world card, but it doesn't fit on here because I just want to do the one before and the one after. I'm just doing the 8 of Wands here. So so those three are Sagittarius. So you are safely in the middle. You're not on a cusp. You're safely in the middle between the 23rd of November and the 2nd of December. So you're comfortable. You don't sort of have to learn two things. But I mean, you could. I mean, it's good to know your story about what was before you and what was coming afterwards. But you are pretty much safely in the middle of that. Yeah. As I say, the comparison with what I've got to deal with is I'm literally on that fault line. So I need to know a bit more about both. I've got to have one foot in each. So lucky you don't have to do so much work. Okay, so I hope that helps, because then you can pitch where you come, you know, within the. But let's just look at this. See, you are you're an 8 of Wands. So these are the three constellations which are relevant to Sagittarius. The 8 of Wands is Lyra, or the Lyrians. So if you think you've got things to do with the Lyrians up in the heavens, I think it's part of Orion's. Is it part of Orion's belt? I can't remember. But Lyra, the main constellation is Vega, which is it the 2nd or the 5th brightest star in the sky? It used to be the pole star, it used to be the North Star. So if you look into Lyra, and then you've got the Welsh connection with St. David's Harp. Lyra, obviously Sagittarius, and you've got all that centaur stuff. Look into Chiron, look into the Chiron asteroids, especially Chiron's wife, Chariklo. And just look up the centaur asteroids, because as a Sagittarius, they're quite good. Now, with your birthday being where it is, look up also, if you do a horoscope, look up the galactic center, because you might be slap bang on the galactic center. Look that up in your natal chart. But you're definitely Lyra. Then the 9 of Wands is Ara, which is an altar. The Lyra is like a lyre, or like a banjo. A harp, not a banjo. And then this is Draco, the dragon. So each decan has its own constellation. Okay. I hope that was of help and interesting. So take good care. Bob, I need to get a new stand.